Do Something Different, a leadership podcast. Hey, this is Rusty Gaylord here, and welcome to Do Something Different, a leadership podcast. We are just kicking off this brand new podcast for high achievers, smart people, ambitious people, successful people who've done a lot in their career, but want more impact and fulfillment in their career. The whole premise of this podcast is that what got you here won't get you there. So we talk about doing something different, breaking old habits, finding new paths forward, because those things that have been key to your success so far may be the things that are holding you back now. And so we want to dive into that, figure out which habits make sense for you to deconstruct and change so that you can achieve your goals. Now, I have a couple of principles that I work with, and you're going to hear this coming up time and time again in this podcast. Number one is this idea of courage. Because honestly, if you've been successful by doing something so far in your career, the idea of changing that requires courage. Courage, by the way, is not the absence of fear. Courage just means you're willing to move forward even though you are nervous or uncomfortable about it. It's the progress in the presence of fear. That's what courage is. So if you're going to change habits, you're going to require some courage. The second key principle here is that our desire to be comfortable is also one of the things that stands in our way. So I want you to build your tolerance for discomfort, to get used to doing things that are a little bit out of the ordinary for you, because it's those things that are going to help you to move forward. I've got a big bias towards action. So everything that I'm going to bring to you in this podcast has a way to put it into practice. And I want you to put it into practice. So as soon as you listen, think about, what am I going to do in the next day to practice this, to do it, to try it? Because it's a willingness to do these things is what's really going to make the difference for you. And finally, I want to just give you this last principle, which I think is so important, which is lower the stakes. So many high achievers think, I can't ever make a mistake. I've got to be right. I've got to look good. I've got to get the right answer. I've got to be smart all the time. But zoom out for a moment. Zoom out of this interaction that you're about to go into in this next business meeting or this next conversation you're going to have. Zoom out and say, in the context of this calendar year, how important is this? In the context of this job that I'm in, which is probably multiple years, how important is this one meeting or conversation? And then keep zooming out to your whole career. And you'll all of a sudden see, man, I've put so much on this one conversation or this one meeting. In the context of my career, does it really matter? And even broader, in the context of your whole life. And I share this with you to help you to lower the stakes so that you're willing to do something different. We've all heard that quote that's attributed to Einstein, which is the definition of insanity is to keep doing the same thing and expect different results. Do something different. That's the premise of this podcast. And it's here to help you be more successful, to figure out what matters to you, what are your goals, and how can you achieve them? Not necessarily by pushing harder on the gas, but by taking your foot off the brake. And in fact, some of my favorite success stories with my clients are exactly those. It's those clients that go from being stressed and working all the time and exhausted and bordering on burnout to changing their behavior so that they're actually more effective, they're more decisive, they're more efficient, they are more productive, but they're actually working fewer hours because they are able to make quicker decisions and be more insightful and focus on what matters. And that, in my book, is a wild success. Better business success, less effort, less stress. That's the goal. Listen in, do something different. And by the way, please send me your comments and your feedback because I'd love to hear from you. So let's work on this journey together, and I look forward to being on it with you. Thanks for listening to Do Something Different. Make sure to subscribe, like, comment, and share with your friends. You can also find us on your favorite podcast platform. If you want additional content beyond what's on the podcast, make sure to follow me on LinkedIn and at my website, rustygaylord.com.